If you're over 60 and you've started to feel like your legs just aren't what they used to be, this might be one of the most important things you hear this year. Picture this for a moment. You're walking up the stairs at home. Halfway up, your thighs start burning. Your knees feel a little shaky. Your hand grips the railing just a bit tighter than it used to. For many people after 60, that scene feels very familiar. After 60, many adults lose up to 3% of their leg muscle every single year, unless they do something specific to fight it. That's not just a random statistic. In a large study that followed nearly 2,000 people over 60 for 5 years, the people who lost the most leg strength were almost 3 times more likely to end up needing a walker or wheelchair within the next decade. Not because they were lazy, but because their legs simply could not keep up with daily life anymore. The good news is that the same researchers found that 3 simple movements, done correctly, could turn that decline around and restore a significant amount of lost leg strength in about 12 weeks. No gym, no machines, no expensive equipment. Just your own body, a wall, a step, and maybe a chair or countertop for support. One of these movements became so effective that some orthopedic teams started prescribing it instead of immediate knee surgery for certain patients. After just 8 weeks, many of those patients felt so much stronger and more stable that they chose to cancel their surgery. The first movement is the wall sit hold. From the outside, it looks like you're simply sitting against a wall, but inside your leg muscles are working hard. The large muscles at the front of your thighs, the glutes at the back, the hamstrings underneath, and the small stabilizing muscles around your knees all switch on together. You put the muscles under tension without grinding the knee joints forward and backward, which makes this especially friendly for older knees. You stand with your back against a clear piece of wall, feet about shoulder width apart, and walk your feet forward a little. Before sliding down, you gently tighten your abdomen, as if someone might poke you in the stomach. Then you slowly slide down the wall, only as low as feels safe. The ideal position is with the knees close to a right angle and the thighs parallel to the floor. But stopping higher is perfectly fine at the beginning. The knees stay above the ankles rather than pushed far over the toes, and the lower back is gently flattened into the wall. You hold that position and breathe. Even 15 or 20 seconds can feel challenging at first, especially toward the end. Slow breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth helps the muscles stay supplied with oxygen and often lets you hold a little longer. Over time, you gradually build up your hold toward a minute, and when that feels comfortable, you can briefly lift one heel at a time to make the stabilizers work harder. A couple of these holds act like a wake-up call for the legs. The second movement is the slow, controlled step-up. This simple action copies what you do many times every day. Climbing stairs, stepping into a bus, getting into bed, or up onto a curb. Rehab clinics around the world use step-ups to measure how strong and functional someone's legs are. In large studies on older adults, people who could complete a good number of step-ups without stopping had a much lower chance of serious mobility problems years later. You begin by finding a sturdy low step, such as the bottom step of a staircase, about 6 to 8 inches high. If balance is a concern, you stay near a wall, railing, or countertop you can lightly touch. Standing in front of the step, with feet hip-width apart, you place the whole foot of one leg on the step, heel and toes fully supported. You lean your weight slightly forward over that front foot, press down through the heel, and slowly push yourself up until both feet are on the step. You try not to push off too much with the back leg, so the front leg does the real work. Then you step back down slowly with the same leg, taking about 3 seconds to lower. That long, controlled descent is where a lot of the strengthening happens. You repeat for several repetitions on that leg, then switch to the other side. As this becomes easier, you can gradually increase the height of the step rather than rushing into very high numbers of repetitions. Throughout the movement, the knee tracks in the same direction as the toes and does not collapse inward. Done a few times per week, this movement trains each leg on its own, reducing the gap between the stronger and weaker side. The third movement is the single leg balance stand. It looks very simple, but it has a powerful effect on both your legs and your nervous system. When you lift one foot off the ground, your body automatically switches on a network of muscles from the foot and ankle, up through the calf, thigh, hip, and core. Dozens of muscles work together to keep you upright. Long-term studies show that older adults who struggle to balance on one leg for even a short time have a higher risk of falls and other health problems later on. Those who practice balance work regularly are less likely to fall, less likely to fracture a hip, and more likely to stay independent. To practice it, you stand next to a sturdy chair, table, or countertop that you can grab if needed. You stand tall with your feet hip-width apart and your weight evenly distributed. Then you gently shift your weight onto one leg and lift the other foot just a few centimeters off the ground. The standing knee stays softly bent rather than locked. You look at a fixed spot on the wall in front of you and breathe steadily. At first, even 10 seconds may feel challenging, and it's completely fine to touch down or hold the support. Over time, you work up toward 20 or 30 seconds on each leg. As your control improves, you can lighten your grip, hover your hand just above the support, or later add small movements of the raised leg or gentle head turns. Each small change forces your balance system to adapt and grow stronger. One patient in her early 70s began with only a few seconds of balance on one leg before needing help. By combining wall sits, slow step-ups, and single-leg stands 3 times a week for short sessions, she gradually reached the point where she could climb stairs without pulling on the railing for the first time in years. That kind of quiet progress is very common when these movements are done consistently. You can combine all 3 into a simple routine. You start by waking up your leg muscles with wall sits, then move into slow, controlled step-ups to build real-life strength, and finish with single-leg stands to train your balance. The entire session can take 10 to 15 minutes, several days a week. On other days, gentle walking or light stretching keeps blood flowing and reduces stiffness. Consistency matters far more than intensity. You do not need to push yourself to exhaustion. You simply need to show up again and again. If you have severe knee or hip pain, dizziness, heart problems, or you have had recent surgery, talk with your doctor or physical therapist before beginning these exercises. They can help you adjust the movements to your situation so you stay safe. You are not just strengthening your legs, you are protecting your independence and making it more likely that you will keep walking your own stairs, carrying your own groceries, and living on your own terms. If this helped, subscribe and share to help others.